Hey. Hi. Welcome to Above Life Channel. The purpose here is to inspire your spirit and to fill you with hope. I am Bridgette. It's nice to see you. We're going to have a continued conversation with Lisamarie Presley from the Afterlife. Now, I have made a departure from my traditional protocol, wherein as a psychic medium, I traditionally will wait. I will allow for like a grieving time. I will allow for a fuller transition time. However, there have been at least 2 instances now where I have felt really able to hear and connect with that afterlife celebrity in a way where they're talkative, okay? And there's like pressing and importance and like a timely thing, like a pressing timely thing to be able to have her presence felt. That's like really important. It's almost like a bunch of y'all who loved the Presleys really want to rally and kind of support that family, and especially Priscilla now. And so I think that that's part of this kind of press to have a conversation. And you know, the way that I do conversations is a conversation. It's not a psychic reading in traditional sense. Question, answer, question, answer. It's also not investigative. It's not like, let's dig up the dirt. That's not what we do here. We are respectful. We treat afterlife soul and spirit just like we treat afterlife soul and spirit in the body, respectfully, honorably, lovingly. So if you are new here to Above Life Channel, hey, welcome. There are lots of playlists you can explore and discover, and I encourage you to do that. I also have a podcast on Sundays, Sunday Morning Coffee with Bridgette, and it gives you the opportunity to connect in to a topic that is affecting you as a human, as a person, understanding the energetic context of said topic. So if you're here for the dirt, this isn't the place. It's pretty clean around here. And if you are a longtime viewer, hey, this is for you. And you know this is for you. Okay. All right, so let me double check to make sure I can be heard and you can hear me. I see the chat. This is a live stream recording on Friday, the 13th of January, 2023. I did already create a playlist for Lisamarie, so you'll see that on Above Life Channel. You can watch the initial contact I had with her this morning, just very brief, but something. I needed to give you guys something because I felt so compelled to make a connection with her, and I couldn't do it without having the camera on. Because what's the point of that? What's the point of that? I need to share that with y'all. All right. Let me just take a peek here and make sure you can hear me okay. Hello, everyone. And I encourage you that if you are in the live stream and on the chat, if there's anybody that is out of line or rude, how rude in the chat, feel free to use the little 3 dots behind their name to block them. You are empowered here to manage the environment so that the energy stays uplifting, insightful, informative, and respectful. Okay. I hear myself. Oh, and I need to say one thing, just one little thing before we get started to my normal traditional viewers here at Above Life Channel. When I record things live stream, YouTube takes several days to like process or convert the video. And so you will find links to this video on Above Life Channel Facebook. I have a Facebook page that I'll post it on. Also a link to Bridgette on Bridgette Inspired in Facebook as well. So those are 2 Facebook pages. It's just easy to zip them over to Facebook, Above Life Channel Facebook or Bridgette Inspired Facebook. And there will be commercials for a while because YouTube puts ads in and I can't take them out on the live stream until after they've processed the video. So I apologize. I'm not adding the ads. Okay. I just want that to be clear. Okay. I would prefer not to have that. All right, beautiful ones. Let's have this conversation. Turn off my phone. Bring in Lisamarie. Yeah. I know, I'm sorry I'm late. Let me just be clear. I'm sorry. I know we talked about originally like around a 2 o'clock time frame, and I know you don't get time right now anyway, but I really wanted to kind of be here by 2, but it didn't work out that way. I was talking to my sister. Hey, shout out to my sister. She's probably watching live stream. She's like, oh, that's so cool that you have a sister. Like, oh, thanks. She's like, no, I totally understand like flight delays and stuff. She says flight delays and such. Yeah, yeah. And she says, I know Prince. Like I met him. She says, before I was dead. Like she is so direct. Okay, let me just be really clear. Lisamarie is very direct. I like her style. You and I connect. We click. I like this. Yeah, I like it. Okay, so tell us about your connection with Prince. You guys, we might as well like do some small talk, right? Like it doesn't always have to be deep and intense and heavy and hard, you guys. Afterlife, she's like, yeah, afterlife it's not such a big deal. Like she's like, it doesn't have to be so like gloom and doom all the time. She's like, gloom and doom all the time. All right. And because I'm clairvoyant, so I see a lot when I'm talking to spirit in the afterlife. In addition to hearing them, clairaudience, and also feeling, sensing, that's you, by the way. You can feel and sense her energy. I invite you to tap into that. My energy right now personally is very high. It's super like, and so make sure you're tapping into her versus me. And I think mine is getting really high because there's a lot of energy around her passing, the crossing over. So she's like, yeah, I bet. She said, yeah, I bet. She's like, the vultures are circling. She says, the vultures are circling. They want to know, she says. Give me all the gory details, she says. Yeah, I like her like directness. I appreciate that about her. Now, I am going to say that I'm trying to think. I have a TikTok. I've been off my TikTok. I haven't been on it. Which is kind of a bummer because I didn't post today. Same with Instagram and same with Facebook. I was on Facebook to post my original channeling session, like our original chat. But I don't know the details. I don't know. All I know is that she transitioned. The only information I purely am getting is from her, not from anybody else. I'm not looking at your messages. I'm not looking at nothing. Okay. Because I want this to be pure. Because when you make afterlife contact and connection, you're human. You're human. You can do this with your grandma. Okay. I wholeheartedly believe that. And you're an empath. And that's why you're here. That's why you're drawn to me. And so here, let's learn. Okay. Feel the energy of her heart chakra and appreciate her personality. Yeah, I totally like the personality. Okay. Yeah, definitely has an angst against the media, journalists, not journalists. She says journalism, some journalists have credibility, they really have some like integrity, she says. Like common respect for people and decency, they're not like paparazzis or trying to like get a story on you, a juicy story. She says, yeah, I have a lot. She says, I have a lot of, and I'm going to say like animosity or angst. Those are the words I use. It's not anger. She does not use the word anger. That's interesting because you feel really angry to me energetically in one of your grid systems. Now, you guys, I'm feeling into her from her recent transition. She still has persona. She still has personal traits and characteristics. She still feels like Priscilla Presley. Okay. So I feel anger and I'd love to talk to you if you're open to it about that. I know that there's some level of that I want to really respect and not dig into. We're not trying to heal you or change you or whatever, but acknowledge the fact that there's some human emotion that is still attached energetically. But is that to you as a spirit or is that to you as a life? Can you talk about that? Since I don't usually talk to spirit right after they left. Like you checked out last night as far as what I see yesterday. And already you're like, hey, I want to talk. And you want to have this big like press conference. You want to be able to talk to as many psychics as you can. To why? Is it like to set the record straight or what's the deal? And then I don't want to say, why did you choose me? Because people, I think, assume that you pick us and it's not necessarily, it's a mutual decision, right? It's mutually beneficial. She says, oh my gosh, I'm not going to repeat that because it sounds very conceited. She's like, well, my dad, and she's like, you've talked to several people that I know and I've cared about in my life, so it kind of makes sense to talk to you. Thank you. You just tell us the story about Prince too before I dig into your anger issues. I mean, your angst issues. She says, oh, funny. She's like, yeah, okay, I knew you wouldn't be. She's like, I knew you wouldn't let me get away with too much. She's like, yeah. She said, I've been there. I've been to Paisley Park. I get the feeling that, okay, I'm going to sound like a freaking idiot, you guys. Did you sing? Because I can hear your voice and it's good. And it almost feels a little country. Is that true, you guys? Put it in the chat or in the comments if you're watching this after. Little country, and it feels like she recorded. And I'm like, something about recording at Paisley Park is a jam. Either you wanted to or you did. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, did he have a thing for you? Like, are you his type or something? I mean, I can see why you're gorgeous. Let me just say, oh my goodness. There's definitely a thing there. I can feel a thing there, a little thing there. Not going to say that it might be because of Michael Jackson, but I'm just going to say, and okay, so Lisa, can we chat in the future about Michael and stuff? Because I really, I was a fan and I really want to understand some stuff and I would really like to talk to you about that when you're comfortable. And I'll give you some time, right? Because this is about you and what you want to say. This is your platform. And I know it's annoying when people ask you other stuff that you don't really want to talk about right now, okay? Because it's about you and your family, right? And your purpose. Yeah, thank you. She said, yeah. She said, yes, it's like being at a charity event where you're promoting a nonprofit that you have or a foundation you've created and people asking you about your love life. She's like, it's nobody's business who I'm sleeping with. Oh, sister, high five. Oh my God. Did you already talk to Carrie Fisher? Because she kind of has that attitude too. I love that. She's like, it's nobody's business who I'm sleeping with. Oh my God. I used the word sultry to describe you earlier today, and I would say that is true. She's like, oh, thank you. And then she kind of literally does this thing with her lip, and I don't know if it's a thing. You guys I didn't follow your stuff in human life, so I don't know, but it kind of does this little thing with her lip, kind of like, you know how your dad kind of had this thing with his lip? I can't quite do it, you guys. I can't do it on command. I have no idea how people do that. Kind of like that. Everything moves on me. It's all connected. So it happens when you age, right? But she kind of does this thing with her lip and kind of licks the side of her lip a little bit. Kind of thing. Oh my God. Okay. Or even bites it maybe a little. Yeah, kind of bites it or something. There's something she's doing with her lip, just the corner. And I'm like, oh, it reminds me of your dad. She's like, yeah. She's like, no. She's like, I don't know. Maybe it's hereditary. She said. I can tell you that they're both major flirts. I can tell you that. She is very charming. I'm going to use that word just because it feels a little more gender neutral. Okay. So, all right. Okay. So Prince, huh? Is the thing, huh? I didn't say, she says, I didn't say that. I didn't say it was a thing. He's really short, I know. Do you know there's going to be Prince fans that are going to really not be happy with saying that? But yeah, he's short. And she's like, yeah, he's kind of short, Yeah. And she's like, I always wear boots, I like to wear boots, She's like literally showing me cowboy boots. Like, are you really comfortable? She shows me Nashville. She shows me Tennessee. That's the vibe I get. Well, obviously, Doug, Graceland, Memphis. Hello. See, when I am channeling or having conversation in the afterlife, I can't recall human factual things. So you guys are just going to have to accept that as how I work. Okay. If that bugs you, then, this is not the place for you. Okay. I just want to give you a time to bow out now if you want. So, okay. So yeah, boots, cowboy boots is a big deal. She's like, yeah. And I feel like her on a ranch, you guys. Did you ride horses? Yes. She said, yes, I ride. Yeah, I ride. Yep. I see a ranch and, okay, so now I'm getting this, and I have no idea why I would hear this word, Oklahoma out loud. I have no idea what that means, except for the state, obviously. But it's this vast, I don't get Colorado. I don't get Wyoming. I don't get Montana. I get this a little bit of Montana maybe, and that might be good. Might kind of feels a little, well, I like Montana. That's me. Maybe that's me. But I see a ranch, and it's not like New Mexico hot. It's not like that vibe. It's what is Oklahoma? Isn't that just really flat? No offense to anybody from Oklahoma, but it seems just super flat. I don't know what that means. I have no idea what that means. Stuff comes in sometimes, and it's really important for me to just say it because it might mean something that I don't know, and you can make a connection. All right. She's showing me pets or animals too. I see animals. Okay, so the Prince thing, thanks for that. Awesome. All right, so number one huge question is, there's a couple of huge questions. Who greeted you in the afterlife? She's like, oh, it's like a big, she said, yeah, it's kind of like a reunion or something. She says, it's like an event sort of over here. Like she says, like there's a hotel and everybody stays in different hotels and then you have to go someplace to meet. She says it's kind of how it is for her at least. And she's like, I'm in the hotel, like you get ready for this. Okay, so how do you get ready to meet the person that's going to meet you in the afterlife? This is her perspective. I don't see her time of death and her transition yet. She has not showed me that, and I will respect that. She literally shows me, you guys, listen to me. She's showing me right now on this date, January 13th, 2023. She's showing me like being in like an ER. People aren't freaking out or anything, but she shows me being in an ER. And then she literally shows me the curtain being drawn and pulled around. You know how they do that in the big, huge room? They have this big room and then there's curtains. She's doing that. And she's showing me that. And then she says, so to me, oh, sorry, that was my ring, sorry. To me, that means privacy. So I'm going to respect that right now until she brings it back up. Michael, Archangel Michael, right away. She did say, yeah. Like I was going to ask, is there a spirit guide that was with you? Yes, Archangel Michael. She says, and she's like, oh my God, this is cool. Somebody has to validate this quick. This is so cool. There's like an Archangel Michael, like there's some kind of pendant or something. And then there's this reflection. I see this reflection of Archangel Michael. And then I see some kind of pendant or something around the neck that's held, that's special. It might be something from her dad to her. It could be as simple as a cross or like a St. Christopher pendant. But then I see a very specific statue of Archangel Michael. That's what I see. Where is that? What is the Archangel Michael statue reference? Somebody tell me. And also the necklace. What's that? Do you know what that is? And she says, for safe passage. Safe passage. That's what she's saying. Safe passage. So was it hard for you to let go? She kind of shakes her head and looks down and she says, I've been trying to hang on for weeks, months, years. She says, I've been close to death before. And she gives me this distinct feeling that this has happened before. The thing is, Lisa, I think, is that we want to really respect your emotion, your energy, your healing, your personal journey right now because it's so tender. It's very soon and recent. Yet knowing that you're already transcended, you're a spirit, you're not holding on to a body anymore. And you don't have that heaviness or that weight on you. And you have much more of a higher consciousness connection or ability to go up. Feels like she's right in the middle, which is about where she should be right now. Letting go of the body, stepping up into the, oh my God, I don't want to share that. I can see it. Oh. Mm-hmm. It's like I want, I don't know. I want to respect your mom and her privacy. She wanted to see me. She wanted proof. But she wasn't surprised that I was gone. She wasn't surprised that I left, you know. And then she shows me Las Vegas. I don't know what that means. I don't know what the deal is with Las Vegas. I don't know if there's something coming up in Las Vegas or there's been something in Las Vegas, but she says I wasn't surprised. She wasn't surprised, but she wanted proof. She says, oh, that's really, really, really profound. She says, she's trying to really impart the energy of you are the captain of your ship. Like you choose the course. She says you choose the course. And she's reflecting on how it's really heavy energy, very somber energy. She's reflecting on that she was born into a famous family. You may have been born into a family. Your family of origin may not be the loving, happy days, perfect Instagram family. You might not have that. You might. If you do, you're lucky. And she says, I'm not saying that's an excuse. Like she says, I don't want to sit here and make excuses for my life. But she is giving context, you guys, to understanding. She's like, my emotional wellness was definitely in question. She says, a long time, for years. She said, and off and on, I really struggled with deep mental health challenges. And she's showing me, she's calling it, she's saying very specifically, I've struggled with mental health challenges, is what she's saying. I've struggled with mental health challenges. That's how she's phrasing it. I just want you guys to know that. I think that's very respectful of you, by the way. I'm going to honor that. And she also literally shows me, like, she's actually like feeling like you're going crazy. She says, losing your mind. Yeah. She's like, oh God, I don't want to say that out loud. Okay. She says, when you're in your body and you can't feel it anymore, she says, you would call this numb. She says, I know you call this numb. Yeah, I do. In my own personal mental health journey, you guys, I've called this numb. When I'm numb, that's a problem. That's a really big problem. She says, yeah, because it means you're totally detached. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're at rock bottom. It could mean that you've already made a choice. She says, I don't want to be a poster child for anything. I don't want to be. She says, I'm not somebody that you can look up to and say, wow, great life, or wow, she made it, or wow, she really did good things. And she says, I'm not somebody that you can look up to for that. And she says, I'm not interested in being a role model. I'm not interested in that. I don't claim ever, I would never claim to try to be that for anybody, she says. She says, I couldn't even do that for my own son. She says, she doesn't use the word vision, but I am using the word vision. My idea of family, she says, is very different than probably any of yours. And she says, I don't expect you to understand that. And I'm not looking for sympathy. Then she comes back to kind of the whole purpose of why we're talking in part is because a lot of people suffer. Like she had tremendous loss. She lost her dad young. She's had so much, there's been so many losses. Like what she showed me was above, like she lost a parent, and then she shows me below, I lost a child. And so there's this sort of like alignment with that isn't positive. Like it doesn't feel good. Like she says, I didn't want this to be my path. Like I didn't necessarily want this to be what would happen to me. But I wasn't surprised. Like she says, every year that I lived, I was kind of like, oh, huh. And she says, every once in a while, I would think, oh, I could live like a full life. I could live a long life. But she says, oh, she's really giving me this image, you guys, that she would drop low and have low lows. And there were a lot of times when there was contemplations and close to the edge of not continuing her life. And There are times that were high and good, or she would consider good, or where she felt safe from herself in a way, like she wasn't Presley. She was just Lisa, and just being Lisa felt better than being a Presley. But then she says she comes to realize that being Lisa was also really hard too. And she says, I want people to know that your heart and what you feel really matters. And the moment you stop feeling, the moment you become numb, that's a problem. Please get help. That's a problem. Get help. That's a problem. That's a problem. Oh, I'm going to feel emotional and I'm going to let myself. When you're sad and you're grieving for too long, when you're sad, when your heart hurts for too long, it changes you. It changes you. And she literally asks, like, how are you changed? How have you been changed? Because you have been. Everybody's had loss. Everybody's had grief, whether it be through disappointments or, oh my God, are you really going to say that? Assholes, she said. Through assholes. Very eloquent, very articulate she is. I love it. How long have you been sad? It wears on you. It wears on you. It wears on you. You have to do healthy things. You have to really make an effort to do healthy things. And that means getting up, taking a shower, opening the curtains in a room, not keeping it dark until the nighttime, and then getting up because you feel like darkness. Oh God, that's so sad. She says, when you're sad for too long, you become the sadness. Like you just become this person that just carries the sad. What would you suggest, or what would you have wanted? What would have helped that? Could anything help that? And she says, for moments you forget about it. Like you can actually just forget. You can become distracted, she says. But when the pain's too bad, you don't want to like burden other people with it, she says. So she says, she literally says, the reason why you feel me angry, she says, I'll use your word angry, is because it gets real old after a while, It's easier to focus on the anger. It feels much more powerful, she says, the destructive parts. It's like you just want to feel something different besides sad, When you feel pissed off, she says that there's kind of a power in that. But she says, like, at the world, like everything, like she's just mad at everything. Like there's nothing that isn't out of the reach of being a target, And she says, my mom, I want to talk about my mom because I think it's important for people to understand the relationships that you have. And she says, she says, my mom has tried to help me many times, But, she is Priscilla Presley. She has things to manage and things to handle. And there's ways in which we need to act and be and present ourselves. And so often I think I've really let her down, really disappointed her. And, oh my God, this is heartbreaking. And that also means, as being a mother myself, like she literally feels like, oh my gosh, one of the saddest things ever. Like parenting her son. She's like, oh God, Oh, please don't say that out loud. Oh, I failed him, she says. She says, Bridgette, I'm sharing these things because it's important, because people feel it. They know. That's the same damn thing they're thinking too. And she just dropped the F-bomb, and I don't know if I can do that on YouTube right now on a live stream. I don't want to get kicked off, but she said that in their effing lives. Like, this is real. This is real. She's like, no judgment, Really? You're going to judge me? You're going to judge me now? She says, go ahead. I feel like, oh God. She blames herself for her son's death. That's sad. But she says, I don't believe my mother will blame herself for mine. Just point blank, she says that. She shouldn't. It's not her fault. It's not her fault. It's not her fault, she says. It's not her fault. No, it's not her fault. So we talked a little bit earlier about, Lisa, about how this was a big week. Like, I know that there was a big event. I don't know what it was exactly, because I just heard like a snippet on the radio, some award being given to the actor that played your dad in a movie, and that you and your mom were present. It was a big deal. I think people will wonder if that played into it. Oh, I see somebody just like Golden Globes. Oh, wait, let me just say here. I wish we could ask her a question. I miss her already. Somebody said that. Yeah, we're not going to do that, you guys. Not at this point. Maybe in the future. That's not usually how I channel. If I do that, I do in a small group, and it's usually like a fundraiser for something. But you can post comments. You can post questions in the comments, and then when I channel her again, I can use some of your questions. You can feel free to do that after this, okay? You can do that. So did that play into this? Did that create extra stress or pressure? And she says, there's always something, isn't there? There's always something you can blame, or you can look at and say, oh, maybe it was this, or maybe it was that. And she says, maybe it was just a matter of time, she says. Maybe it's just a matter of time. How about that? How about we not look for somebody to blame? How about we learn from this experience not to look for somebody to blame? How about that? How about we just identify the fact that people get really, really sad sometimes, and it takes a toll on their body physically. And sometimes people make choices that aren't so healthy, and it catches up to them. How about we just settle for that? And how about we maybe take a moment to not judge anybody in our lives who has had mental health struggles and who might be swinging high highs, low lows, or who's going back into recovery for the 5th time or 8th time or 100th time, as long as they're trying. Like, how about we just not judge people for that and make it like some character flaw? How about we not do that? So is that part of the reason why you're pressing and it's important? Yeah, she says, number one, I don't want people to blame my mother. Number two, I don't want people to make all sorts of assumptions about me based upon how I died. And I don't want the conversation to be, which she knows she doesn't have any control over, because I'm saying, you don't have control over that. In my head, I'm going, you don't have control over the conversation. All the comparisons and the parallels between her and her dad. I don't need that. I don't want that. That's not the kind of legacy I want, She says, I shouldn't even have a legacy. I'm not even interested in that. I have no desire to have that. My legacy is I'm Elvis's daughter. Like, how about that? She says, people are really sad. And just because they go to some event and look all pretty and smiley, doesn't mean they're not sad. She says, we're all things at the same time. She says, we suffer in our own private hells, mostly created by our mind, she says. The thoughts you have that won't let you go, like that I'm the reason why my son's dead, like that. Please don't blame my mother for my death. Don't do it. Don't do that. Mm-mm. It's nobody's fault, she says. Nobody's fault. Nobody's fault. I'm not going to say that part. I won't say it. I won't. You can keep talking. Continue sharing your words. The grief part, you guys, it's the grief. It's the loss and the pain from the loss. She just keeps using the word sadness over and over again. In the parts of your life where you feel so sad or weighted down by sadness, forgive yourself. She said, God, just give in. God, just give in. Do you believe in God? I do now. Yes. And it's not a white guy. And it's not even a hot guy with dreadlocks or curly hair either. Oh. It's interesting because she brings up the concept of faith and she says, I don't really know what to tell you about that, what faith is. I don't really know what to say about that. And then she's saying, I feel much more connected as you're sensing. She says to me, you're sensing, I feel much more connected to the life I've had here right now than I do to becoming an angel. She says, I'm no angel. She says, I'm no angel. So have you seen your dad? Have you connected with your grandma? Have you connected with your son? She said, yeah, I saw him first. Her son. I saw him first, she says. I saw him first. It's like, Mom, what are you doing here? Why are you here? Like you wrecked it, kind of. She's like, he said, Mom, why are you here? Like I literally see her son going, why are you here? Mom, why are you here? He's like, it's too soon. It's too soon. And then she says, he broke my heart. Oh God, that is tragic. My heart was broken. So have you seen your daddy? From afar, she says, yeah. Yeah, from afar. He says, it's not his place. It's mine right now. Like she's the one on stage. She's the one in the limelight kind of right now. People are be channeling her, not because of her dad, but for her. Like he's staying back a little bit. Like I can see him in his white jumpsuit, that kind of vibe, but I can't like touch him, talk to him, whatever, because that's like their private stuff. And also not just that, but this isn't about him, it's about her. She has a life of her own. And we got to honor that and encapsulate that in a brilliant yellow light. Yellow comes up again. Yellow came up in the initial contact with her, and yellow is connected to your solar plexus or your spirit, so your soul. It's in your belly. If you do chakra work or yoga work, or meditation, it's in your tummy. And it's just the energy center of your body that really holds the space for the energy of your spirit. So each of you is like a ray of a higher source, is what it is. Whether you believe in God, goddess, universe, cosmic consciousness, whatever, prime creator, earth, whatever you believe in, there's that. You are a part of a whole of a oneness. So that's what that is, that yellow. And so I know that there's purpose and meaning here for her to connect and communicate at this time. And it's really to talk about the sadness and to, it's interesting because she's like, real talk. People deserve real talk, not this fluffy like crap about, be positive and change your life and all this self-help crap. She's like, that's not going to get you through your darkest nights. She says, you're the one that has to do that. You are, and you might fail and you might disappoint yourself and others. And what you got to do then, like, what advice do you give us then? What advice do you give us then? She says, well, okay, you can talk about this. She's like, I'm kind of spiritual. I'm like, you are? Okay, I have no idea like what vibes you have as far as spirituality, because it feels like you had not, it almost feels like going to psychics, a bunch of psychics or something. I don't really understand this, what I'm seeing with her. It's like universal consciousness kind of vibe, but it's kind of like a astral cosmic star energy almost. Is different. I don't know what this is. Maybe it's something different. I don't know. I'm not scared of it, but it feels like you like, yeah, that doesn't really fit. Like it kind of, you tried something on, it doesn't work for you. So you're like, yeah, this doesn't really fit. I don't love this dress. I thought it looked great in the store, but now I'm like, yeah, I don't want to wear this anymore. Like that kind of vibe. But it feels like she's sharing that she's had visitations. So yeah, from my dad. She said, I used to talk to my dad. I would talk to my dad. And she says, among other people that you might know, she says to me, I'm like, okay, we're talking to him in the future with you. We got to do it because I want to know, or about him with you. I'm talking about Michael Jackson, but we're not going to talk about him right now because we're focusing on her. But it's interesting. She said she's had visitations. Like she's extraordinarily psychic. Does anybody know that? Like, is that on record? Like, can somebody tell me that? Is that a public record thing? Is public knowledge that she's intuitive? Like not just intuitive kind of, but like psychic, like can have visitations and be like, oh yeah, that happened. Like, okay, I got it. That happened. Yeah. Like, so like she's psychic. So did that help you or hurt you or what? Like, what do you want to say about that? She said there's not really a lot to say about that, except it's real, but what's real for me might not be real for you. She says everybody kind of, does their own thing. And she says, my intention, she says, in speaking isn't to tell other people they're doing things wrong. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that, or that they need to change their behavior or their choices or what. No, I'm not going to tell them that. They can get enough of that. Why I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to tell them that. They know. People aren't stupid. We got to stop talking down to people who have mental illness or mental health issues or who are just grieving, who are sad. Like she doesn't use the word grief. She just says sad, really sad. Mix sadness and with disappointment. And that's a horrible cocktail. Okay. All right, my friends. Okay, Lisa, no offense or anything, but I was hoping you'd pick us up a little bit, She's like, do I look like a cheerleader? No, you do not. Okay. She says, I'm going to be working through some stuff. She says, I'm going to be making the rounds and working through some stuff and having conversations. She says, please respect my mother during this time, is what she says. It's not her fault. Isn't her fault. It feels like she hopes in part in speaking out that to acknowledge the sadness and the struggles and the suffering that you're going through, to encourage you, but not to tell you what to do. To just kind of say, hey, I get it. I get it. She said, my whole life has been that. She says, now I have to kind of face that. She says, now. She said, oh, by the way, oh my God, are you really going to say this? I'm going to say it. I'm going to fucking say this. Even if I get pulled off YouTube, I don't give a shit because this is going to help somebody. Ready? Let's say it. Even if you are in a situation or scenario that other people cannot understand, even if you are It's hard to be sad all the time. It's hard. It's really hard. She says, even if you leave on your own terms, you don't get a free pass. She says, you have to deal with your shit. You have to look back over your life. And guess what? It's not just like this sweet little harps playing an angel doing a life review. Like I'm using, she knows the spiritual words, the context. She knows spiritual stuff because she literally says the life review. And that's a term for reviewing your life. Oftentimes it'll happen to people right before they die or right after they die if they've been in a car accident or something, or if they're like in a hospice kind of scenario and they're on like morphine, but their brain is kind of not with it. They might have dreams or scenarios where they're kind of experiencing bits and parts of their life. That's what life review is. She says, you have to do that in the afterlife. You don't get a buy on that. However, your life ends, like she's like saying expires, you still have to do all that. So you have to see it. You have to know. You have to come to an understanding. And she says, I say you have to because it's part of healing. You got to heal. That's all you've been wanting this whole lifetime is to feel healed, to feel worthy, to feel good. Just for you as yourself, not for whose child you are. Who's your dad? She says daddy, by the way, not dad. And so you have to face that. You have to face all of the things. And she says, I don't want it to sound like torture, but it's not like you're free. Oh, I feel so much better. Everything's great. No, she's like, no. She says, I also want to be clear that I'm not suffering. I'm kind of, it's almost like she's pondering, like moving through her healing process. Her ego mind in part is still active at levels to be able to understand and process how she considered this or looked at this particular experience or life event from her human perspective, so that then she can feel into now the collective heart, the one heart, the universal heart, the conscious, cosmic consciousness heart that beats just pure love, so that then she can feel that, and that those two connect, the ego mind, the heartbeat place connects, and then it heals. It softens the energy. It's like a medicine or a cauterization. She specifically shows me like coming together. She says it's for wholeness. It's to be whole. And she says, I can't tell you if it's a requirement to get into the afterlife. I can't tell you that. She said, I don't know. I'm new here. Like, I don't know the rules. It's just her ego mind, right? Translating to my ego mind because I'm a person. So I can do that, right? That's how it works. She's like, I'm new here. So I don't know. She said, but I can tell you there's no judgment. There's no judgment around this. And there's no society projecting crap into my healing. And she says, and that's possible for you now, where you're at now. I believe it. She says, it's possible for you to heal now from your sadness. It is possible, Lisamarie says, it is possible for you in your life right now to heal from your personal sadness. She said, your private hell. It's possible. So the whole big thing is, no matter how you leave, you still got to do the work. Oh, that's right. Some people might call that karma, and then you just jump back into the next lifetime and you come back with all your baggage. And she's like, yeah, it depends on how well you do your work, whether you do it in your human body or in the transition point in between or whatever your thing is. She's like, I don't know. They haven't showed me a whole plan. I'm focusing on this right now. I just left. It's like I have my bags. We just arrived at the hotel and I saw my son and that's what I wanted, like that's the first thing. And I know dad's here. It's totally fine. I'm not in a hurry because there's no time here. There's no time. She's like, it's great because I was always late. I was always late. That drove people nuts. She said, I was always late. I'm sure most people were or are. It's okay. So don't be late for your own funeral. Oh, I bet she'll be buried at Graceland. Do you guys think? Hmm. Whoa, that's a lot. Okay, my dear. It's been good to just talk to you. And I think that some of what you've shared energetically will resonate with people. So we maybe can be kinder to ourselves, more compassionate. How about that? Okay, you empaths who are feeling this, I hope you can cry through this and clear your own pain. I hope you can release and forgive yourself as part of her message for whatever you've been feeling or dealing with. Be kinder, like to yourself, like, hey, come on. Yeah. I just keep thinking about the fact that you're 54 and I'm like, in 4 years from now, if I knew I only had 4 years to live, what would I do? That's where I'm at. And I'm like, oh girl, that's a big question. Where would I be? What would I be doing right now? That's a big question. Mm-hmm. All right, my friends, thank you so much for watching on the live stream. You can check the chat replay, it will be available. Also, please put in the comments questions and things that you might have for Lisamarie. We might channel her on Monday again, or maybe Sunday if there needs to be a vigil or if I need to hold some space for the energy, because there's a lot of people that are upset or feeling their own stuff, because part of what in the transition of her, she can carry over or release through your sadness, especially related to grief, and especially in the parent-child relationship, whether it be with one of your parents that you don't have closure with. She can help take some of that off energetically. She's willing to do it, and she'll do the work for us, help us a little bit, lighten the load. And also for people who've lost children or people who blame themselves for however their kids turned out or the choices you've made in your life, especially people like in recovery, addiction, mental health, ups and downs, challenges, all that stuff, all of that stuff. Okay. All right. So this is Above Life Channel. I'm Bridgette. It's nice to have you here. Thank you for watching this live stream with Lisamarie Presley in the Afterlife, recorded on Friday, the 13th of January, 2023. Yeah, it's unusual. I don't usually channel people right away, but she wanted to talk. She was talkative right away. The first minute when I woke up this morning and I saw that she had died, all of a sudden I could hear her. I was like, whoa, okay, we're going to channel you. We'll talk to you. This is a second video. There is a playlist for her and for Elvis. Also here on Above Life channel. I channel every Monday. I share that. Sometimes I do it live stream. Sometimes I have a pre-recording depending on what's going on for me for the day. And also I have a podcast, Sunday Morning Coffee with Bridgette, which is much more of a talking about a topic or something that kind of came up and energetically, intuitively, it's not a psychic channeling. So I hope that we've inspired your spirit. Maybe given you a bit of hope for your life. Opened you up to some love energetically, okay, with spirit and connection, okay? What we always say at the end of all of our videos here is, this is your life. It is yours, viewer, who's ever watching or listening right now. This is your life. It's yours. And you get the opportunity to live it. Just live it. Thanks for being here. Thank you in the chat, by the way. I should mention that. Thank you for chatting.